Welcome to another episode of my Motortown playthrough. Today we are back to do some more bus driving with the new systems in place, just to see how it all goes and how well it compares to before the update. So starting out, we are in Gappa and we are going straight for the terminal here. I used to be able to fill up my entire bus over here in some occasions, but I don't think we are going to see anything like that happening today. Again, the new system promises more population to transport around. I don't know if we really need all that many more people, since we were pretty much at the limit the last time around. But this seems to be much fewer things going on here right now. But we seem to be able to at least get it to around halfway full, which is nice. But yeah, I think they changed a lot of things about buses with this update, so some of it might still need to be dialed in. If you change so many factors at once, it's not always going to be easy seeing what the results will be. We might also just get a better payout for this in general, so maybe even if the bus is only half full at best, it doesn't matter all that much if everybody pays triple the price. But we'll have to see about that. Also, if we get past one of the larger workshops, I definitely want to switch out the rear wheels. They don't really look that nice anymore now that the wheels on the rearmost axle are single wheels again.
Hello.
Okay, getting a few more people over here. From what I've seen in my first look around before the update video, it seems like a lot of places around the map have now just gotten more people in general, so there aren't that many completely abandoned stops anymore. So maybe it's been slightly redistributed from some of the terminals being full all the time to now it being more evened out a little bit, which would make for a nice change as well. Also, you may hear a little bell going off while between the stops, and that's supposed to be the identifier that somebody wants to get off the bus at the next stop, which is nice and realistic and all, but it doesn't really do the thing that I would like it to do. Because in order to get the next stop and all of that, we still need to come to a halt here, so it doesn't really work out too well. Ideally, we should be able to just drive through if nobody wants to get off and if nobody wants to get on the bus. I will briefly back to the stuff that I talked about last time about some suggestions that I have for the whole thing. I got some screenshots together now, so I can tell you guys about that maybe a bit later in the episode. But yeah, as far as the whole bus bell thing is concerned, I think you should just be able to drive through the bus stop if nobody wants to get on or get off, and it should just activate the next one. And if you had somebody who wanted to get off at this one, you would get maybe a fine at the next one, or when they would get off and not pay you for the trip. And if you miss out on picking somebody up who, well, it would likely need to be a different thing if the bus is just full. But you're not getting any money from passengers that you don't let into your bus. And maybe if you had the capacity and just didn't let them get in, then maybe you should get a fine for it as well, because now we have to take a taxi. But I think for a simple version, it would be alright if you just drive past some place where somebody should get off. Next stop, they will get off, they won't pay you, and well, any passenger that you don't take in, you're not gonna make any money from. So, yeah. If you wanna drive around in an empty bus, that's up to you. And I don't think that would be too complicated to implement. I guess we might only hear the bell after the next bus stop, because I think then we are going to the Lido terminal, and it would be a miracle if nobody wants to get off there. And yeah, the bus is just about halfway full at this point. Kinda needs another person because, well, one of the 24 is the driver. That's me. And I'm not going to leave the bus anytime soon. So for passengers, we are now at 23 out of 48. If you wanna count it like that. And there's nobody here. But yeah, this could be a really good thing if they added that as well. We can also now see the whole too early on time and too late timer. So we have now about 1 minute to get to the next stop. And we should take the time to not be too early. And then there's a little time window that we have in order to be on time. And the cool thing here is that the timer for the next stop after that is only going to appear when we leave the bus stop. I don't usually take this corner like this, I just shortcut it like if I was racing the bus. But yeah, I wanted to do this time, and thankfully we didn't pay with any comfort. Ah, that was a little ringing. So that's all working now. And yeah, I think just having the proper timer that actually tells you something about how it should be working out. I hate having this little bus in front of me. Tony, I mean. This is already a really good update for that. Sometimes it's just the small things, but the way it was working beforehand, it really didn't make sense to me, and it didn't make sense to a lot of people. But yeah, we are now way in our on-time time window, so time to arrive here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And yeah, not too much going on here. I've also seen people talking about how very often right now, if you let somebody out at the terminal, you don't get another passenger over here. So beforehand, a lot of people would then get out and be put back at the terminal waiting for another bus to go further down their direction. And right now it seems like that's not really working out, and that might be another reason why money is down. So I don't know if that's really intended or if something weird is going on, but we'll have to see about it sooner or later. And another thing that just added so much to the game, in my opinion, is the vehicle preview in the spawning menu. It just looks now a lot more feature complete to that. Just so much more high value because you can see the car and it's spinning around and all of that. It's pretty cool. But yeah, there are still a few things that I would like to see changed about that menu. Also, they fixed that weird bug where my on the selling box, the money symbol there would be disappearing if I get too close. I have some scaling option active right now for the markers on the or in the world not to be too large, like the target marker for my next location, all of that. And yeah, this is also a new bus stop over here, which is pretty cool. So since I made those things smaller for some reason, the cell box icon would just disappear, because instead of scaling to a certain size, it would mean that if you go to a downscale, it would just continuously apply it. So it would go maybe to 90%, then it would go to 90% of 90%. So that's like 81. And then it would just continue downscaling until it's invisible, or if you have it to more than 100%, it would just be scaling up over time. It looked a bit ridiculous if you played around with it. So I'm glad that they got around to fixing that.
Hello.
Another big thing that I wish they finally fixed is the whole chat scrolling bug, where if you're in multiplayer particularly, then if you just keep playing and people keep chatting, sometimes your chat just doesn't keep scrolling down. And okay, somebody wants to get off at the next stop. I might actually also have to rethink this area, because there are more bus stops now. We can see one over there. I don't know if driving through here and going to the main stop in front of the dealership is still the best option. I will have to see about it. Where was I? I keep forgetting. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, the chat scroll glitch is annoying. I don't really play with much multiplayer right now, apart from the racing events. And even there it's annoying, because you're waiting for the go, and even just somebody pointing out that the race is about to start and all of that. And you may just not get it because of the thing not showing it to you. I mean, multiplayer has a lot of things that it needs to be addressing, but that's definitely one of them. Also, I should be going to a gas station sooner than later. I kinda just didn't. Okay, where's terminal? I need to let people out again. I hope that in one of the future updates, and I mean updates to this whole main 7.7 update, we are going to get a symbol for buses that can light up if somebody wants to get out. It's not really that easy listening for the bell all the time. Easy to miss that one.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
But yeah, I don't know if everything with the terminals is working as it should right now, because it really seems like a huge downgrade compared to what it was before. Then again, I didn't really speak to any of the passengers, so I don't know where anybody I want to transport here actually needs to go. Next up, high school, and there should be a few people around here. Maybe not around midnight or almost 2 a.m.,
Hello.
but I've seen this being pretty full quite recently. Yeah, I feel like right now, compared to what it was before this update, might have been quite the nerf to buses. We'll have to see how it works out in the long run. Once again, once you start making adjustments to a job like this and you change multiple things, you might not land where you want to. So this just being the first version, some stuff might be going wrong. I think it would also be interesting if some people only showed up to the terminal or the bus stop just before, um, or if you wait long enough to not be too early anymore. I mean, right now I'm 51 seconds too early. I'm not going to be waiting that time. That would be ridiculous. I don't know how the game determined that this should take this long. And really, I should be putting more attention to that. Oh wait, that was... of course, that was already the timer for the next bus stop. Never mind. I don't know how well I hit the time on the last one. But yeah, like 20 seconds here. I mean, sure, if we don't shortcut the corner and everything, we should be getting to that just in time. But this is another one where I don't really need to stop necessarily. And we are going to be slightly too early. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be the biggest fan of the whole too early thing. In real life, of course, it would be critical to be just on time. Not being so early that somebody would miss the bus, and not being too late, of course, because that's going to mess up with everything else on the schedule. But in this game, I'm not entirely sure if I like that the game wants me to slow down. Then again, discouraging the buses from behaving like race cars might also be not the worst idea. And I'm going to take a refuel here anyway, so I don't know if we will still be on time, but we are definitely not going to be arriving too early, and that's half the thing here. About 50 seconds for the on-time window, so we might actually make this. Start turning in, because that's gonna take a few seconds. And yeah, 30 seconds to get there. We are definitely on time here. Also, I don't know what it is about the trash stuff, but I've seen the boxes at the dumpsters and all of that being active for even people who don't drive a trash truck at the time. I think there was a weird thing going on a while ago where just everything would be active for anybody, being able to open your doors at the bus stop if you are not driving a bus, and that kind of thing. But yeah, we are coming back through here. And I think there might also be a few more stops that I need to add to this route, and I should likely also go for at least one lap around all the other routes to make sure that they are still accurate. Another little thing that I saw that
Hello.
I'm happy that they did is adding bus stops to the coal mine. But really, I wish they just went for one bus stop. It doesn't make sense for me to have two of them at the end of that road, but I might just make a little feedback post about that. Should just be a single one instead of two up there. I don't think there's gonna be anything else added that would require somebody to go past that. That's pretty much the end of the line there. What would be cool, however, and I don't know if it would be any accurate to South Korea, but in Germany we very often have at larger terminals separate areas for getting off a bus and getting on the bus. So we would arrive at the bus terminal and there would just be one area where everybody needs to get off, especially if it's the end of the line. And what the hell are you doing on my side of the road there? driving like that is my job. So yeah, there would be one location where you just have everybody leave the bus, and then you would drive forward to the other one where everybody who wants to get onto the bus can do so. Even at locations where you just continue with the line, that's very often the case. Just to smoothen out the whole thing a little bit. So I don't know if something like this should be added to the game, but maybe for one or two of the major terminals, if it would be accurate to the area, I think that would be a nice little feature. I think that might also potentially make the whole thing a lot larger. When it comes to this kind of thing, in Germany at least, we basically then just have a road going around the whole bus terminal, and there's just a one-lane road on the outside that the bus is going to follow. So that might require a bit more space. So let's say there would be the island in the middle now, and we would drive around here, come to a halt at a place where just everybody could get off.
Very much.
And then we just have to turn around here, and there would be another part of the bus stop on this side where we would also stop, and then other people could get on, and that's how that all goes. That's not even on my suggestion list for the bus improvements. I think that would be another neat thing. Could especially be useful at the airport. The airport being pretty underutilized anyways. I should really take bus for a few laps around Liju to see how that changed. Oh yeah, another thing over here is that I think this is Oedo. The bus stop used to be on the main road here, but now we need to go to the off to the side, and this is where we can get the passengers. So for this bus route, since it's skipping a few stops, I might have to look into how many people I'm getting from here, but there are at least a few there. Also, they should really fix how some of them are sunk in the ground. I think that really became a problem with Unreal Engine 5 beforehand. That's not something that I remember happening, but it's been happening quite frequently after that update. But yeah, maybe the bus not being on the main part of the road for the stop might be a good thing here, because that can easily clog up the main area of the island for a moment. But we are not getting anywhere full capacity. There seems to be some work schedule thing implemented here, so maybe me going through the line at night might have an influence here. I don't really know. It would be kind of annoying, honestly. But I'm still getting a few people here. I don't know, I'm just kind of contemplating right now if it would be a good idea for something like a night bus to have fewer people on it than during the daytime. It would make bus driving just a time of day dependent job, and I don't know if I would be happy with that. It's certainly not unrealistic, but it's kind of not really helpful for the gameplay, I think. At that point you really need a long day-night cycle so that you can at least get a few laps of your favorite bus route in while it is daytime and while people are wanting to be transported. Okay, I'm gonna cut it real tight here. Also, guy just biking in front of me, trying to get past. Yeah, I think another little thing they did was change how some of the brakes work so they are not overheating all the time. I'm not entirely sure, but I think I read something about it. I hope it wasn't just a suggestion. But I think at this point, on the last update, I would already have some steam coming out of my, or smoke coming out of my wheels, with the brakes being on fire.
Hello.
And yeah, that's the ring for the next terminal. I mean, I would be very surprised if nobody wants to get off at the terminal, so... Where even is that cop car? It's apparently somewhere to the left of me. Oh, it's on its side. Well, don't mind if I pass through here. And I completely forgot about trying to replace the real axle rims.
Hello? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Another thing I would really like to see is some terminals being placed so that they would serve as a good switch over point for going between the different islands. I don't know if anything changed about it, but right now, or at least with how I set it up and how it was the last time I checked at Gappa, basically the people at Gappa, if they want to go onto this island, they would go to any specific of the different terminals. So you can't just drop them off wherever, you need to go to all the 4 terminals on this island in order to get the most out of it. So that never really sat well with me. I would rather have some specific switch over point, maybe even in Baiyang at the Oldley Gate warehouse. Just so that I know that if I want to get people from one island to the other, that's the stop they need to take. And maybe could be something similar on this island at the end of one of the long bridges. And that might work out. But having to go everywhere from Gappa, it's just no. The only thing making that lucrative is that other people going between the different terminals can also use that. But besides that, it's just kind of a really long waste of time. I mean, another way to take this would be to meet in the middle and do the switch over at Anson at the terminal there. I think that would be kind of hilarious. That's the island nobody needs to go to. I hope we get to see more love for Anson. Would be nice to not only get maybe another racetrack added if they are so inclined. I mean, I'm always down for having more racetracks, but also just some regular buildings and stuff that makes the island a bit less awkward and just have more going on it. But yeah, we are getting to the end of the video. I think I'm going to take it back to Gappa real quick. And once we are there with the bus, I'll be quickly showing you guys the screenshots that I took for the suggestions that I made a while ago. I don't think there's going to be enough to talk about for it to be its own video. So I'm just gonna put it in here as well. But yeah, of course, we are now getting into daytime that I'm ready to end the video. Yeah, I could have maybe slept at the starter house or something, that might have worked out. I also still need to check out the preview for buildings. Might do it in the next episode or off screen. It would be far more interesting to do so if we have more buildings to deal with. Right now I'm also holding off on decorating all of my lots that I purchased. I mean, I have so many properties. Just because there's really not that much to do there. I have a few buildings that I could put down there, but when it comes to interior decoration, there's just so few options. I need a few more in order to make it be fun. Right now it's really not a question of what you want to get and what you want to buy. Did they remove a bus stop from there? It's really more of a question if, yeah, how many of each do you want to buy and where do you put them? But in the end, there's too little options to make things really make sense. Oh Jesus, I didn't see that guy putting on the turn signal. I should have maybe slowed down anyways because they were slowing down, so yeah, that might have been my indication. Oh, lots of people over here.
Hello.
Hello.
But I've seen this being pretty full a while ago, so that might not have anything to do with day-night time. Also, apparently my brakes are giving out right now. Well, they have been in use for a while. And we are still 20 seconds too early, so we might turn this thing around real quick. I haven't really been paying attention to this for the most part. Also, I'm of course at the wrong bus stop. I haven't been paying attention to the to the road either. I think there may have been a variation of this where I took out this stop. It's a little detour, but usually it's worth it. Also, I'm on the wrong side of the road now.
Hello.
I think that counts, but it's not gonna do anything unless somebody wants to get off here. And yeah, 50 seconds to get back to the terminal, that's definitely a bit on the long side. Especially since the game for some reason disregards this road pretty consistently. But yeah, now I really have to slow down in order to make this make sense. Gonna wait here for a few seconds and... That guy just sliding across the ground. Ah, now they got wise to activating the animation. Well, lots of people leaving. And that was 16k for the fare, 10k for comfort bonus. Did I get anything for being on time? Because I really tried. Apparently not, but yeah. So, yeah, it seems like the payout is definitely still up there for at least some of the stuff. I didn't pay attention to everything here, so yeah, this was more about getting a feel for it again and see how the different stuff was, but once again, it's just It's so hot in here, and just Germany is suffering from an immense heat wave. It's tough keeping you cool in a literal way and paying attention to all of this stuff. I'm just kind of going along right now, trying to somehow get through it. Anyways, screenshot time. So yeah, this is my suggestion for the bus stops and bus improvements in general. So first up, a final stop button, which we've kind of gotten, but yeah, into a bus driving session and getting off instead of being sent to a farm upstate when despawning the bus. The second one is a bit of a longer thing. I talked about this in the past. I'm gonna try to make it short. An option to segment bus routes with final stops to force people to get off, maybe at a terminal or something. And maybe with a different display name for the next part of your route. So maybe, let's say, and I'll go back in game for this. Maybe you're doing the entire Gappa Express route. So you're going from here to up to Jeju City and then back down again for some reason because you're ignoring a lot of other stops here. It kind of makes sense to have a different name for the different parts of the journey. Maybe when you head up here, you would be going this direction, and going back down, you would be coming around over here. So having the north part being named to Jeju City, and then the down part being Gappa, would be one thing, but it would also allow you to force off any people who want to take the bus from over here just to right here. Because the main purpose for the bus route is actually to get to Gappa, and if you get a lot of people who just want to go to different other terminals for which you might have a different route, you may end up with your bus being filled up, nobody being able to get onto the bus at Gappa, and therefore your entire trip over here being useless. And of course, if you have a smaller route, and that's really what likely is going to make it have more sense. I have a route, and I don't know if it's worth showing you guys because it's going to look really confusing. The Jeju loops over here. So I have a route where I go from, let's start with number 7 over here, 7 to 8, going around here, coming around here, where the hell is 10? Going somewhere else from here, 11 is there, so 10 is right here. So you're taking the bus, going around here, coming around here, and then just keep going in loops and try to make sense of it. It's 14. Where the hell is 12? 12 is right here, so you're just gonna stick around here. Anyways, what's really happening here is that you come to the Jeju terminal 4 times doing a full lap around everything, and you're just going into different areas, collecting more people, bringing them over to the terminal. And if somebody starts out maybe at this bus stop right here, and they need to go to Jeju Airport 1F, they would be sticking around in your bus for a long time, and making the terminal the final bus stop of that segment of the journey would mean they would have to get off there, and then they could maybe get back on if the next part comes around where they actually go to that bus stop over here. So that would help keeping the people off the bus if you don't want them, and making sure that people going to a certain location actually get on when they should be. I know this is getting longer than I wanted it to be, but well. So yeah, this is actually pretty useful, but it's hard to explain, quite sadly. At least I'm not doing a good job at that, I feel. Indicator light that shows if somebody wants to get off at the next bus stop. We have the ring now, but having a visual indication of that would also be nice. And yeah, this came out about a month ago, so way before this update came to the testing branch. 3.5, so in conjunction with that, the ability to just drive past bus stops. I talked about this earlier, so let's just skip it. Access to the bus route menu from the control panel, we have that now, which is nice. Adding more stops to places around Oatly, we have that now as well. They also very thankfully, and I kind of forgot to mention that here, they consolidated a few things together so that some rarely used areas don't have like 3 or 4 bus stops in them, which are not being that frequently used anyways. Payout rebalancing to make a bus to from Guangjin worthwhile. I think I have to do another run with a Guangjin bus in order to check out if that works out now. They seem to have been doing something for this, but we'll have to see if it actually does anything in practice. But yeah, they have been attempting some rework there, and there is now something in place that they put into the patch notes, so I think this is likely also checked off. A rework of the destinations that people want to go to, so there's more viable stops. Going to either a nearby terminal or directly to the destination was okay for Lilu Island on its own, but with Oatly it needs to be more flexible to be reasonable, because at the end you right now have a lot of stops that don't really or a lot of people who want to go to weird stops that don't really work out with any reasonable bus routes, especially with the limitation of having up to 5 AI bus routes. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is a quick mock-up of what I would like the summon vehicle menu to look like. And to be clear, this was also before that recent update, so of course it should include the vehicle preview. That's just something that I didn't think about back then, and this is more about having custom vehicle filters, so kind of classes of the vehicles should be something that you can make your own classes. You should be able to name them what you want and then put in any vehicle that you want, so that you can actually do that in a more purpose oriented way with how you are using that vehicle. But yeah, overall, first up, despawn vehicle button should be up around here. And instead of having the list, or not even the list, but this other thing where you can just click through all the options, the vehicle filters list should be somewhere around here. Maybe find a different way to place it with the new preview and everything. But the main thing is, I don't want to have to press the arrow 10 times in order to get to the last class. I want that list to be somewhere around here and just being able to see everything how I want to. So this is what it would be looking like when you are actually summoning vehicles. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. The more important thing, and I hope I don't go that direction, that's one of the routes for one of the recent events I was planning. This thing. Ignore everything on the right side, because I was making this based off the bus route menu, and basically it's very similar to that. This is what it would look like if you apply a vehicle filter. How would you get into this menu? Well, I should show in game again, and I'm blocking off the path for one of my buses here, which is not great. You would enter that menu in, and I'm blocking off so much more than just this as well. Jesus. You would get into this menu from any of the tuning garages. Right now there's the rename car option, and you could turn that into this menu as I just showed you guys. And yeah, this is where on top you still have the option to rename your car. And vehicle filters, you would have the option to rename them, which is the pen symbol right here. The option to reorder them how you want. And you would have a highlight around which classes your vehicle is in right now. The only thing that you cannot do anything about is the all option. You can choose where it appears in the list, but it's definitely always going to need to be there. Just so you can always make sure to have it. And otherwise, if you don't have an all class, you could end up buying a vehicle, don't have it assigned to any class that you have customly set up. And yeah, then you wouldn't have access to that car anymore, which would be kind of ridiculous. And yeah, the button to the left here would allow you to either join a new class if you want to, or leave the one that you are in already. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, join or leave the class. Also being able to have multiple classes for the same vehicle if you want to. I mean, maybe the Enfield GT isn't technically a compact, but this is just a simple example right here. Being able to rename it, order it in which direction you want. Also being able to delete the class altogether if you want to. And you could still always access all of the cars that were in there through the all class list, which might get pretty long after some time. But yeah, that's my quick and dirty mock-up over here. And I think having something like that in addition to what we have already in-game, I think that would be really nice. Especially when you approach a ridiculous car amount like I have right now. And especially when you have multiple of the same cars for different purposes, like I have an SRT semi-truck for racing and one for transportation purposes, and many more vehicles with similar examples. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me for this one. It took more time to explain than I thought. I'm sorry, but hey, that means you're getting a long episode today. I hope it was fun. And yeah, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Have a good one. Take care and bye bye.